Hello, my name is Mr. Smith. I was a teacher here at WJ Mouat from 1973 to 2008, 35 years. So I was fortunate to be at the school when it first opened. So when it first opened in 1973, physically the school wasn't occupiable. So what they did, we had all our students, we had 150 students. We had 4 grade 8 classes and 2 grade 9 classes. So what they did is they took the 2 grade 8 classes that were from the Mouat School area and housed them at Yale in the cafeteria. And then the kids from the city, the grade 8s, they went to Abbotsford Junior, 2 classes, and then the grade 9s of the city, they went to Clearburg Junior. So because the school wasn't finished, we were always told, you know, hang on. End of September we're going in. End of September, no. Oh, middle of October, no. This went all the way to Christmas. So finally by Christmas we said, we've had enough. We can't, because in the meantime, what was happening, so the kids stayed in their school. So the kids at Yale stayed there, kids at Abbotsford Junior stayed there, and the kids at Clearburg stayed there. So if you were a PE teacher like myself, or a French teacher, and you were teaching different classes, you had to physically get in your car and drive to the next school. In the meantime, the kids were kind of left unattended because somebody else was taking their driving too. So we said, this is crazy. So finally we got in, and it wasn't entirely finished. So the gym wasn't finished. So we had this was our PE class in the lunchroom, and the lunchroom was twice the size as it is now because that cafeteria they built, those food rooms, that was still part of the thing. So yeah, so that was an adventure. So this was actually our boundary for the city. It wasn't very big, unlike what it is now. And then we just, like I said, we had the kids from Mouat, which were fun. So, and there is a difference between city kids and farm kids. City kids, they'll do something wrong and they'll never admit it. Farm kids will do something wrong. They come, Mr. Smith, I'm sorry, but you know, at least they were up front. So. And those are the days when somebody did something wrong at school, it was the kid's fault. Nowadays, if something goes wrong at the school, it's the teacher's fault. Change the times, change the times. And then we used to have sheets come out. This was any kind of information you wanted to give out to kids or to teachers. We had what we call a gestetner. And when it was fresh, you could smell the alcohol in there. And it was terrible if you're a social studies teacher because you could never take a newspaper article and Xerox it or photocopy it or gestetner it because it would bleed together. It was awful. So like I said, when the school first opened, we had only 150 kids. That was the photo when we finally got to the school. And if you notice, there's only 11 teachers, 150 kids. And if you look at the hairstyles, the boys' hairstyles were quite long compared to what the girls had. But that was the year, right? So, and our report cards looked like this. This is what a report card looked like. It wasn't the mass-produced computerized version. You actually had to take pen and paper and actually write your comments on the report card. And of course they were only limited, each class had a set, so you were always trying to grab a set. So the rule was you could never take them out of the staff room. So that was fun. This was our original timetable. And you can see there's the teachers. I said there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. There's 11 of us. Even the principal taught, vice principal taught, everybody taught. So because we only had grade 8 and grade 9. So the following year we expanded and everybody moved up. So the grade 8 and 9s moved up to be grade 10s and grade 9s, and we filled in with a new grade 8 group. So we did. Then we had 300 kids, so we had to get more staff members, right? So the following year, everybody moved up one more year, so we had grade 11s, grade 11s, grade 10s, grade 9s, grade 8s. And because the school was limited in what it had, we could only house so many students. So the next year, we never got any new grade 8s, everybody moved up. So we had grade 12, 11, 10, 9. And we did that for many years, and then finally we dropped the grade 8s, the grade 9s, I'm sorry, we did grade 10, 11, 12. And then at one time, we had 21 portables out there. It was crazy. Before we had the expansion, right? And as we got bigger and bigger, of course we had some expansions. There's a new theater, was in late 80s, 88, I think, just before the French immersion kids came. And then in the 2000s, I think we expanded to the new gym in the 400s, and I think we improved the That's the shops. In between the shops, just to go sidelight, there was what we call the smoke hole. So kids were allowed to smoke and teachers were allowed to smoke in buildings. Now it's taboo, right? But we thought, well, instead of them going out onto the street and getting a bad reputation to the neighborhood, we thought, well, we'll just put them in there and we could kind of control it. So you had it go between the main school into the shops. It was just a breezeway. Now it's enclosed. And the kids were out there in the freezing, smoking away and all this kind of stuff. So teachers, like I say, we only had 11 teachers, including the principal. And Dr. Paul was the first principal here. Very strong person. He's the one that sort of set the table for the way Mouat functioned. And his philosophy, you include everybody. There was no, we put all this one group way over there and all these kids over here. Everybody was merged together. And the motto for the school is success for all. And that's a very, very strong message to people. You come here, you do your best, and we'll find something for you to get involved in. Mm-hmm. So the school's name is WJ Mouat, but it was really going to be called North Clearbrook, because they had Abbotsford Junior, Abbotsford Senior, they had Clearbrook Junior, so it was just a natural thing to say Clearbrook, North Clearbrook Secondary. But Mr. Mouat, who was the district superintendent, went away on a holiday, and when he came back, the board people said, hey, Mr. Mouat, there's something you need to go to this new school about. It was everywhere to the new school. So he goes to the new school, and sure enough, on the outside of the school, WJ Mouat. So he was surprised it was named after him. So it was quite an honor to have him, because he was a very strong superintendent of schools. And so that's how WJ Mouat became. His name is actually William John Mouat. That's what the WJ. Okay, the area around the school was quite different than what it is now. It's surrounded by houses and townhouses and all that kind of. When we first moved here, it was the end of the road. Like on the other side of the street was farms. In fact, McClure Road only went from Gladwin to Trethewey and stopped. So all the area behind Mouat here was just fences. So cows would come over, we'd have PE classes out there, and we had the field, because we were kind of involved, I was involved in track and field, all our sports stuff, there's only one field. And in order to make a circle or an oval for people to run, the district employees came up with oil and just burnt the grass around what they thought was an oval for it. That was a running track. So PE classes, go and run around the oval, right? So
when did Rotary Stadium?
So where Rotary Stadium is, that used to be the city dump. So yeah, it was like we were in the outskirts. We weren't any part of the. So as McClure came through, and then Rotary Stadium came in about I think in the 80s, late 80s. And of course that was a huge thing for our school. I mean, as a track coach, I was able to take my track team down there. And Dennis Kelly took his football team in big games with Rick Hansen and that. So when we first started off, there was only 2 high schools in the whole district that went to grade 12. MEI, which is a private school, and Abbotsford Senior. So as the school district getting bigger, the school district decided we need another secondary school. So that's how we became the secondary school of choice. So when we got to grade 12, we had a terrible time trying to get kids to come to Mouat, because all the kids said, well, my mom and dad went to Abbey Junior or Abbey Senior. I want to be an Abbey grad and all this kind of stuff. There was a real kind of pull trying to get kids to come here. And if kids were supposed to come here, there was no guarantee they would. Excuse me. So when we became a full secondary school, the school district said, okay, we're going to start grade 8s here again. So 88, I think we started grade 8. But it was a real weird year, so we started grade 8s, but instead of having grade 9s, which meant we had to pull kids from the Clearbrook Junior and Abbotsford Junior to come here, we thought, that's not going to work, because they've only been they were in elementary school for 7 years, junior high for 1 year, and then we're going to pull over here. That's not going to work. So we had grade 8s, 10, 11, 12. So the next year, the grade 8s moved to grade 9, and then we filled similar grade 8 to 12. We did it all the way to 1999, until they developed the middle school system. And then we went back to grade 9. So personally, I like the grade 8 to grade 12 routine, yeah. The kids, I find, are too traumatized when they come from grade 9 to 12, that first year. When they're grade 8s, it was just a natural progression from elementary school to here. So they went to one elementary school, one high school, You're done. Okay, so quite often during the school year, we'd have different celebrations. So this one year, Dave McTaggart, Mr. McTaggart, the band teacher, had this great idea about fundraising, and it was getting oranges from California, oranges and grapefruits. And so we would sell them by the box. So big, huge semi-trailer truck comes in, and we're going to store the stuff. So we close the gym, turn the temperature on as cold as we get it. We stored all these oranges. There's cases. There was, I don't know, thousands. So we decided, well, how are we going to promote this? So we'd have pep rallies and whatnot. So there's one pep rally. We decided to have one person dress up as the Great Orange. And he came in an ATV and whatnot, and roaring, and the kids are, screaming and yelling. So he was the promotion. But unfortunately, he had a cape on. And as he turned the corner, one of the capes fell into the wheels of the thing, and it jolted him back, and he fell on the floor. And the kid, oh my God, he's dead. So he was fine. Bit of back. But that was the Great Orange. So if you hear about the Great Orange, that's how it started. So when we had our first grad ceremony, it was such a small group. I think there might have been 70 kids in the grad class. So we had our own gymnasium. And at that time, kids were allowed to wear their own formal dress. So we had all the dresses and whatnot. And as we got bigger, we eventually went into the Alliance Church. So again, same thing. They're still dressed up in their fancy dresses and suits and tuxedos and whatnot. And as you probably know, when you go to these the pews, or not pews, the seats in Alliance Church, they're quite close together. And these girls with these big skirts with had hoops on them. It was just a nightmare trying to get them to sit. And one girl, this one time, had an umbrella, those little parasols, and every time she bent, she was poking pins and all this. So we thought, that's it. No more dress up. We're going to do formal graduation gowns and caps. And that's how that started, with the cap and gowns. So before that, it was just formal wear.